I think love is powerful, man. And what's happening is, people are literally ostracizing a whole vast majority of men and not have getting to have the experience of love. It's like that old saying, it's better to have loved and lost than to have never
Never
loved at
loved, yeah.
all. And I think that's also depriving a lot of people. So that's one of my biggest concerns.
No, and it is. But again, I'll give you an example. There was a woman on a podcast once who said when she's on online dating, she puts 6 foot and over for her requirements.
Yeah.
But the man she fell in love with was 5'9". And so again,
Okay.
I do think there's a portion of society where there's an idealistic view of what I want, what I desire, what I'm holding on for. But when we meet someone and we really like them, we throw the rule books out the window.
Gotcha.
We start changing a few things. It's almost like there could be a guy who says, "Well, I need a woman that got a fat booty." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then falls in love with a woman who barely got a little something back there. And he's like, I love her, so I'm going to deal with it. I'm cool with it. And he's genuinely cool with it. Not like he's resenting the fact that she doesn't have it.
Yeah.
So I do think that real love and connection makes us more flexible. But I do think more people need to be more flexible as they stand right now
Gotcha.
to allow more opportunities to come their way. So I do think some of the standards are a bit out of control. And as you pointed to the statistics, they're not realistic to what's out there. But I will say this. I think for some women, everyone looks at the world from the world that they live in. All right. So I remember when I was in college, I swore everyone had a degree. Until I looked at the statistics at that time, it was like 27% of people
Yeah.
have a degree. And I was like, really? I swore everyone did. Because that's the world I lived in. Some of these women live in a world of men with money, live in a world of, let's say, athletes or whatever. So their perception is very skewed
Okay.
on what the reality is in the world and in life. So I think that contributes to it, but they still need to be mindful.
But is there a difference between what you have access to and what you can actually get, though?
Yes, absolutely. But I'll say this though. So one, yes, what you have access to does not automatically mean you can get it, or mean you can get it for a long-term serious relationship
Right.
and genuine love. I had lost my train of thought what I was gonna say, but yeah, pretty much, definitely doesn't mean you have access. I think a lot of people. This is what I was gonna say. For a lot of people, men and women, I think that they get too comfortable with the access and not develop the other parts of them that would actually allow them to get it.
Okay.
So what I mean by that is you have some guys who have money, right? And may have access to beautiful women. But again, it doesn't mean she really loves him for him. She'll take him serious. They might be using him.
Right.
But a lot of times that's because every other aspect of who he is weak. He doesn't have a great personality. He doesn't know how to be emotional. Like there's other things that if he worked on that and you already got the money, you would easily get what you're hoping for. You see what I'm saying?
Got you.
But people just they get comfortable and they think, well, since I'm already here, since I'm in the room, I'm good. And
Yeah.
it's like, no, it takes more than that. But also, yes, what's truly best for you might be outside of this room, and you need to be open to that.
And so, we gave women some advice with that, but what advice do we give men in navigating this space?
As far as the standards are concerned,
Yeah, because, my thing is I'm always advocating for the average guy.
yeah,
Like that's the vast majority of men.
is the average guy. Yeah,
And the thing is, like, the average guy is a good guy.
mm-hmm.
And I know in having conversations with a lot of them, they feel overlooked, invisible, and walked over.
Yeah,
And a man who gets up every morning, goes to work, wants to take care of his family, wants to take care of his wife, that's the man that I'm advocating for.
mm-hmm.
And so with that being said, like, I'm just wondering, like, what advice do you give them in navigating this space? Because that's a lot of mental pressure and social pressure as well for them. And so as they're on the dating apps, because that's one of the things that you recommend, and we know that 80% of the time women do not swipe right. So with that being said, like, what advice do you give them to kind of navigate this so that they find the woman that they want?
Yeah. So I'm just a believer that there's always a path to success. All right. But how much work are you willing to put in? And then you have to evaluate, is this work worth it for what I'm trying to receive?
Gotcha.
All right. So for that guy who's on the dating app, for example, yes, the statistics show 80% of women aren't swiping right. But on the flip side, men are constantly swiping right on women. But I think we're not adding enough context to that. Whereas one, there's a lot of men who swipe right because they're just looking for somebody to have sex with.
Right.
And they're just like, it's a numbers game. So I'm just going to keep swipe. Somebody going to hit me back.
Right.
So that skews the numbers.
Yeah.
Not to mention women go on a dating app, filters on, makeup on. They're presenting themselves in an enhanced manner.
Yeah.
All right. That brings in more attention. I know for a fact that if a man actually put more effort into his pictures and how he presented himself, he would get more success. I've seen it. I've seen men who, in person, they don't get girls like that. Online, they're racking up.
Yeah.
Because they know how to navigate that aspect. But I do think, even from an offline perspective, for a lot of men, I just think that sometimes we're overlooking even some of the simplest tweaks that can make you more attractive. For some guys, simply hitting the gym more often
In the gym.
could change the game completely.
Changes your body, changes your testosterone level, gives you more confidence.
Exactly. It could be haircuts. Yes, we've all seen them videos. Dude walks in the barbershop, look like one person, comes out looking like a brand new man, all right?
Like this.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And again, makes them feel more confident, helps them be more assertive. I think little things like that can really go a long way for men to find more success and not get caught up in what they're hearing on the internet. Because again, I think a lot of men get discouraged by that. So I'll give an example where, on the internet, you'll hear jokes about short men all the time.
Yeah.
And even in person. But every short man that I know who successfully gets women, he doesn't let that faze him. No. He never lets any of that get to his head. He doesn't believe in the whole short.
Be the most confident joker.
Exactly. Exactly.
5 foot nothing, walking like he's 6'4".
No fear. No fear.
I told a dude that one time. I'm like, you walking around like you my height. Gave him a little.
I'm telling you. And so again, he doesn't let that narrative defeat him.
Good.
And I think a lot of men have to not let the narrative defeat you. There's so many women out there. There's a lot of women. Yeah. So even though, yes, there may be a certain pool of women that you're not going to be able to get for various reasons, there are other pools that you can pull from that you can be happy with. And again, it goes back to, are you focused on just this specific thing you want, or the person who can make you happy and you can enjoy life with? Gotcha. I remember one time I heard in the barbershop, and I'm not saying men have to do it like this, or even women, but he said, I had a woman who was an 8, broke up with her, I got me a 5.
Yeah.
I'm the happiest I've ever been in my life. All right. Now, for some people, going that much lower is not going to work for them. Right. So I'm not telling you that you have to sacrifice attraction. There needs to be attraction there. But once he made attraction less of a priority for him, he's the happiest he can be.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So again, and for everybody, it's going to be something different. Like I know someone like me, I'm not sacrificing on attraction. Yeah. It's just not going to happen. But for someone else, they can do that and again, still be good.
Yeah. And the piece of advice I want to give young men out there, especially young men, stop wasting your masculine energy on women who do not care about you, who are not committed to you. And the reason why that's so important is because your divine masculine energy is connected to everything. So when you give that energy away, you're wasting your resources, pouring them into women who do not love you. But because you like them and you love the attraction and you like the attention that you get when you're with these women, you're willing to waste your resources. You have to understand you're compromising yourself. And it's so important for young men to know that there will be time for that. Mm-hmm. Most men come into their own in their 40s. Most millionaires become millionaires when they're in their 50s. Mm-hmm. So it's so important that during those early years, you conserve that energy and use that energy that they talk about in the book. What is it called?
Is it Way of the Superior Man, or is it Think and Grow Rich?
Think and Grow Rich. Yeah. Sexual transmutation. Yeah. Using that sexual energy to put into creation and actually building yourself as a man. So
absolutely. And I want to add, because it kind of just hit me, I think the other thing that especially good men or the average man needs to understand is when you gave all that goodness to a woman, be real with yourself. Was it that she did not appreciate the good, or was it that you slid too much in your feminine while you was with her?
Yeah.
A lot of men do not realize that they're becoming overly emotional. They're becoming insecure. They're becoming too soft because and again, it's not the love. People think it's the love that's doing that to the man. No, it's the fear that's doing that to you. It's the fear that she won't like you anymore. It's the fear that you're not going to find someone like this anymore. It's things like that. I'm not saying, to me, the love, what I believe is happening is going back to the yin yang theory.
Yeah.
It's kind of like I view it as the superhero dynamic.
Yeah.
When a superhero arises, a villain comes about. Every single time. All right. So to me, when love arises, fear comes to try to conquer it or counter it, so to speak. And you have to be strong enough to push away the fear and stay in your superhero.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, they don't know how to handle that. And they think, well, this is happening to me because of the love or because I'm in this. No, it's the fear that you are not handling and managing, which many times stems from unresolved trauma from your past.
Yeah.